Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Bob's Live, our now weekly show right here on the internet. So we broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday around 5 p.m., running a little bit late today. Um, but you can find us on, like I said, both Facebook and YouTube, and then also over on our website at bobsmarket.com tonight. And that is the freezing temperatures that we had. So, this week's episode, I'm going to kind of focus on what to do when you have freezing temperatures. How do you protect your plants? So, let's dig right into it. And first, we're going to take a little stop by our Mason Market to see what's happening there, and also a little bit about what you can do with freezing temperatures. Today I'm down here at our Mason Market where we're getting a wider selection of plants in every day. Just keep in mind that if we have a really cold night, you either need to bring in your plants or be able to cover them up. So for early caller, something like this hanging basket makes a great choice because you can bring it in on really cold nights. And it just dripped right down my arm. Whew! Yeah. These peppers we have inside right now because of the chance of frost at nighttime. So if you're getting a jump on your gardening and planting something like these peppers outside, make sure that you cover them up on really cold nights to protect them. The same goes for something like these petunias too. They work great in containers because you can carry those inside on cold nights. But if you have them in your landscape, make sure that you cover them to protect them if we have the chance of frost. This time of year, if there is the danger of frost or freeze, we'll post a warning to our website. So head over to bobsmarket.com and you can also sign up there to receive alerts by email. It's under the how-to section and subscribe. The same goes for flowers like these petunias too. Wait for the loud truck. Yeah, that's loud. Woo! Okay. And, oh, there we go. So, yeah, really our two main ways to protect plants this time of year is just bring them inside or cover them up. So, I don't really have any flowers outside right now, but I do have vegetables out in my garden. And last night they were predicting really, really cold temperatures, down into the 20s. So most of the plants, or well, all the plants that I have in my garden right now are considered frost tolerant. So they can take, a light freeze and a little bit of frost. But last night it was especially cold. And some of these I've already had get a little bit stunted by some freezing temperatures early on. So I didn't want to subject them to, being completely covered in frost again. So things like my cabbage and uh, my snow peas and collard greens and stuff like that, leaf lettuce and spinach, I wanted to cover to kind of protect. So let's take a look at how I did that. And I'm just going to say right before I jump into the video, I was kind of unprepared last night. So this is something that I need to think about going into the future and kind of have a plan in place for those sort of beginning and end of the season, when you might have frost and you're trying to extend the season, sort of situations. So yeah, you'll see in the video. It didn't go quite as planned. This evening we have a freeze warning, which means we're definitely going to have freezing temperatures. So I am out here working on covering up my garden to protect it from the cold. And one of the ways I'm doing that is with these floating row covers. So they have a couple little wires that stick in and little wire arches that go down through. And it's just really thin fabric that protects the plants from the frost. So a few weeks back, I planted these using seed tape. So let's take a look at how they're sprouting. And as you can see here, my spinach is sprouting pretty nicely. But this cover is just enough to protect it. Of course, my onions and garlic here, they can withstand the cold, so I don't really need to worry about them. What I do want to protect also is my cabbage, because they've already taken some damage from freezing temperatures. So you can see some of the older leaves here. They've been a little bit scorched in the past from freezing temperatures. So I'm going to cover them up with some plastic to give them a little bit of extra protection. And then also my peas, which this row isn't sprouting that great, but this row looks absolutely beautiful. And then also my kale and collard greens. I'm just going to put some plastic over them to help protect them also. All right. Luckily I'm remodeling and have plenty of scrap lumber, so cut these posts out of some plywood scrap, which I might use them later for row markers. I think I could write on with some magic marker. Okay, I didn't think this through. Oh yeah! Hey, hey. Oh. Yeah, I get the wind to cooperate. Yeah. Okay. Now we're in business. Maybe. Oh yeah. There we go. Cabbage protected. was going to use a little drop cloth for this, but while I was poking around in the garage looking for something to hold the tarp down, I found a huge sheet of plastic. So I'm going to use that, and since it's an old sheet of plastic, I'm just going to drive stakes right through it. So, whew. First I'm going to put these in, kind of like make a little tent down the middle. Well, that's not good. Oh no. Whoa, that's really not good. Oh, scratch that idea. Well, I had this roll of plastic. There wasn't a lot left on it, but where it's been out in my building for so long in the heat, it just completely fell apart as I started to open it up. Which means now I don't have enough plastic to cover both of these beds. That bed looks the best. I'm going to cover it up and we'll do a comparison to see what happens. So let me get it covered, and yeah. Alright, so I definitely underestimated the materials that I had on hand to do this. That I had enough plastic to cover up this half of my snow peas. So we'll see if these are truly snow peas and how they do in freezing temperatures. Along with the kale. Now my cabbage, I got it covered, so it should be protected. Everything else I'm not too worried about. Swiss chard, it can take, you know, extremely cold temperatures. That's some broccoli there, it should do okay. And yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I almost forgot something really important this time of year. If you have frost sensitive plants like these two tomato plants and this basil, you want to make sure you bring them inside also to protect them. So that's the benefit of planting in containers this time of year, whether it's flowers or vegetables like this. Oh, it is definitely frosty out. Alright, it's the next morning and we're up beyond what the temperatures were this morning. It was a chilly 26 degrees. But now I can remove the plastic and store it until I need it again. But over here where I did an experiment with the snow peas because, well, I didn't have enough plastic to cover them, the peas were just fine. The kale, it did get frosted just a little bit. So it took just a little bit of damage that I can see. But other than that, everything else fared really well with the 26-degree temperatures last night. And I'm just going to take all this and kind of fold it up, shove it in the garage, and that way if I need it again, I can quickly put it back out. But hopefully that was our last really cold night. Looking at the forecast for tonight, it's currently showing 40 degrees, which is warmer than what it was predicting the other night. So I think we should be good to go. All right, so there we go. That's the quick and kind of dirty way to cover up your crops to protect them. Like I said, I need to get more of those row covers. Those things are really nice. I had to rescue them a few weeks ago when we had that really high wind. Uh, but they're quick. You can go out and just sort of gather them up really quickly. I can stick them in the garage and then pull them back out as needed. Uh, Patty said it was definitely a two-person job, and my wife should have helped me. Yep, she probably would have, except that, she really doesn't want to be on camera. So, but yeah, it was manageable. Other than, mismeasuring stuff, I don't know. That tarp, it said on it that it was a 9 foot by 10 foot tarp. I don't know what kind of units they're using to measure that in the factory, but my bed is 4 by 8 feet, and I was sure I had the long side, and it would not go the entire length of the bed. So 9 feet is really like 7. So, um, but yeah, uh, everything seemed to fare really well. Uh, as I said, the kale got frosted a little bit, so I might have a little bit of yellowing later on. I'll just have to check that out and keep an eye on it. But the cabbage, it looked really nice. And the snow peas, they held up like champs, which I was pretty sure they would because I planted some back in the fall and they took the really cold temperatures back in the fall, really well. The only thing I had to deal with in the fall, as all the tree leaves and everything were falling and there wasn't a lot available for deer to eat, they found my snow peas. So hopefully they don't find them this year. I need to get some trellising up for them to grow up, and I think that will also kind of help protect them a little bit. But well, looking ahead at the weather, this is something that you can just sort of file away for future use because hopefully most of the cold weather is behind us. So let's take a look at the weather forecast for this week. And right now, let me refresh it and see what we get. Yep, still saying hazy, which I'm looking outside and yeah, I don't know where they get that from for the weather. It's not really hazy out. But right now it's in the 60s here in Mason. And hazy? I don't know. It's cloudy. But the low tonight, it is going to be a bit nippy, down to 38. Tomorrow night, we're looking at down to 36. But then we're jumping up to 52, 49, 48, 42. And then, the further out you get, the less accurate the forecast gets. But really, we're looking at ranging from high 30s into the 50s at nighttime now, sort of for an average. So we'll hope that trend sticks around, and hopefully the frost is behind us. Um, so yeah, it looks like we're going to be warming up heading into the weekend. So Friday and Saturday, looks like some thunderstorms on Friday, and then 71 on Saturday, with a little bit of sun. So that might be a good day to get out and do your yard work and your gardening and everything, because it looks like rain on Sunday and also on Monday. So Saturday, if the forecast holds, might be the best weekend day, and Thursday might be the best day overall this week to get out and do some yard work. Well, let me find the mouse. There it is. That is all that I have for this week's episode of Bob's Live. Of course, if you have any gardening questions, I always forget to add a little pop-up right here, but send them to ask, that's ASK, at bobsmarket.com. That goes right into my inbox, and I'll try to respond to your question. And also, if it's a really good question, it might just end up here on Bob's Live. So you can do that. And also, as I said, follow us on social media. We're getting close to hitting 10,000 followers on our main Facebook page. And that's sort of a goal that I've had for a while, and we're getting close to it. And whenever we do that, we're going to be giving away a pretty awesome prize. So make sure that you like this stream and share it. That way more people can follow Bob's Live each week. And also, it's popping up there next to me, our Instagram account, at Bob's Market. We're going live on Instagram on Thursdays now. And it's not at a set time like Bob's Live, and it's not here in, it's my office, but it's not in a studio. But we're going live from out in the greenhouse, the market, my garden, other cool places that we go to. And yeah, it can happen at any time throughout the day, but I'm shooting to do it on Thursdays. Well, that is all that I have for this week. So until next time, keep growing.